Hey everybody, how you doing? I am Max. I'm the host of Dish Gods. I'm here with my co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Little Bear.
Yeah, Little Bear. You're an officially a member of the family now.
Bona fide member of the cast.
Bona fide member. Yeah, Jesse. He's kind of got some stuff going on, so he's going to be in and out of the show. We're not sure when he's coming back, but we got Little Bear here to carry you guys through every single episode we got going on. We're going to be doing something a little different today. The election happened. Current events are filled with everything that soon-to-be President Trump is doing. We're a little sick of talking about it.
Yep.
We've said everything that there is to be said. We have no more to share. So instead of reaching into the depths of the internet and pulling out whatever garbage we can find to milk content out of, we decided to do more of a roundtable discussion. We feel like that might be a fun, more constructive way to spend our time. So we've got a handful of topics here. We've got a random number generator, and we are going to pick a random topic, and we're going to discuss it. We're going to try to get through as many as we can this episode. Not sure how long it's going to be. We're doing a new format, but whatever the number is, it'll be perfect. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's roll this die. And our first topic of the episode is, what was your first album? Little Bear, would you like to start us off?
My first album. Embarrassingly, it was Shaggy.
Shaggy. Okay.
Yeah, wasn't me.
Okay. Right on. Did you buy that yourself, or did you get that as a gift?
It was a gift.
Okay.
I did not request it. It was actually one of my neighbors. My neighbor's wife gave it to me as a gift because she heard it was my birthday. So she came over, she gave me I knew it was a CD just because of the way it was wrapped and the way it looked.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was when I opened it.
Okay.
When I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is awesome, because I didn't really have much experience in music at the time or taste. Yeah. So, yeah, I was like, wow, this is great. And, of course, a lot of my other friends didn't really dig it at the time because a lot of my friends were really into punk rock, or heavy metal, Pantera, Metallica, things like that.
But you were sticking with Shaggy.
I was sticking with Shaggy. I had, that and other R&B artists at the time. Oof. But my taste progressed, and now I'm into different music now.
So is he still a staple in your music library?
He's not a staple, but he is in the library. I'm not gonna lie. He's in the library. Hey. He's in the depths, but he's in there.
You got to stay with your day ones, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. My first album, I'm proud to say, was What Hits by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, very nice.
Deep cuts and B-sides compilation. Yeah, I was in either a Trader Joe's or a Trader Joe's-esque place in Phoenix, and I just saw it. It looked interesting. I may or may not have heard a song by them. Those days are fuzzy to me, but yeah, I thought it was interesting, and that album set me on a course. And I was listening to a lot of metal at the time, Bullet for Valentine, stuff that was real relevant in the world of metal. And yeah, the Chili Peppers just opened my mind. I remember Backwoods, Under the Bridge was on that record. Yeah, it was really cool. A lot of my friends, the two friends that I had at the time, they were both very into Christian and country music. So
ouch.
Having the Chili Peppers rap about sex and funk and drugs and rock and roll wasn't very agreeable with them. But yeah, my folks were really supportive. They were pretty open-minded when it came to music. But
it's very nice.
Yeah, the Peppers were my little treat to myself. Nobody else that I knew at the time really listened to them. Eventually, as I got older, I kept love for the Peppers, through thick and thin.
Dude, I mean, you always got to have love for the Chili Peppers,
of course.
Regardless. I mean, a lot of people say that they're one of the best bands of all time. I gotta disagree.
They're not the best funk band, though.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing the Chili Peppers by any means. They're amazing. Best band of all time?
I wouldn't say best band of all time. I would give them the
debatable.
moniker of best funk band. Because I hate funk
music. I do give them that. Sir Psycho
Yeah.
Sexy is my fucking jam.
That whole record is a jam. I just think that I hate funk music in general. But I feel like the Peppers did it right.
Yeah, the way
They
that they
took
incorporated it with rock and everything
Punk and
else,
everything
the
else.
punk, rock, funk, the way that they did it, their sound is amazing.
Yeah, and they've kept. I mean, everybody can hate. They can say the new stuff sucks. They still got it. They're kind of like the Metallica of funk music.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of one-trick ponies, although the Peppers have stepped outside of their regular sound. They've incorporated new things. I know Flea got really into the piano. They've been doing a lot more piano and more compositional stuff in their latest records. But to me, they're kind of like the Metallica of funk, where you're going to put on a Red Hot Chili Peppers record, and you're pretty much going to be able to expect what you're going to get. You're going to get 3 different types of songs, and then that's it. And that's fine, because that's what Metallica is. They put out a record. It's either solid or it's not, but you know what you're going to get. And it's that kind of dependency that's good. In a world where artists are clamoring to make a name for themselves and doing terrible, terrible things to themselves in their careers. I'm looking at you, Childish Gambino, with your new record. It's nice to have a band to depend upon and know that, you know what, yeah, maybe they're not stepping super outside their comfort zone, but they're delivering a solid product every
I feel
single
like
time.
they did change their sound a little bit between when By the Way came out and Stadium Arcadium.
Definitely.
Their sound definitely changed quite a bit between those 2 albums.
Well, even before with after One Hot Minute with Dave Navarro and then Californication with Frusciante back in the band, that's when their sound really kind of developed. And then Stadium Arcadium was, I think it was like their foray into that more melodic, jazzy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which they heavily explored on I'm With You. Oh, and welcome to our Red Hot Chili Peppers fan cast. We're here to talk about all things Chili Peppers.
All things Chili Peppers.
I just think that, like, the Peppers are like any other band. They're going to have good songs, they're going to have bad songs. But their good songs are fucking great.
They're amazing.
Some of their bad songs are fucking terrible. But you know what? They've got more good songs, and they've been around for what, like 30 years?
I want to, 25.
Yeah, they've been around like since the 80s. So, you know, the fact that they've gone this long, stayed relevant, they're still killing it. I saw the Chili Peppers a few years ago, and best live show I've ever seen. They killed it. I would go see them again in a heartbeat. So, I mean, big shout out to the Chili Peppers for giving us a lot of great music over the years. I mean, you know, they haven't really given us anything like Under the Bridge or Californication.
Yeah, anything groundbreaking.
Since then, but they're putting out solid work.
Yeah.
And I'll stick with the Peppers till the day I die.
I feel that.
Yeah. So let's roll this die. And,
All right, let's see
let's get
what
off to
topic
Chili
we
Peppers.
land on. We're going to go and dive into the fishbowl here.
Yeah. So
And
what do we got next?
We got result number 6, which is loud cell phone usage.
loud cell phone usage. Okay. So how do you feel about
People.
loud cell phone usage?
Okay, so this is kind of a open-ended topic.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, it breaks down into a few different categories. Loud ringtones,
Okay.
obnoxious ringtones, because you can have a loud ringtone that's just like da 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 da. Okay, it's like, okay, you turn your fucking ringer down.
Yeah.
Or you'd have like some obnoxiously loud, like,
Buy You a Drink by T-Pain.
yeah, like
classic
the
ringtone.
bass is too loud for your speaker. It's too staticky. You know, it's just fucking.
Yeah.
It's just doing that. But then the most annoying thing that anyone can do is talk on their fucking speakerphone in public. Or what they do is they'll turn on speakerphone and then they hold the phone to their ear like they're talking on just like a regular phone
Yeah.
without the speakerphone. But then I can hear what the other
The other
person's fucking
conversation.
saying. And I'm like, dude, you're holding it up to your ear already. Just turn the fucking speakerphone off.
See,
What's the problem here? Like, I don't want to listen to your conversation about how your girlfriend has like some nasty infection or about how you cheated on someone with your, neighbor's wife. Like, that's none of anybody's business.
Yeah.
Turn your speakerphone off, man.
I disagree. I think the most annoying thing is when people play music out of their phones and they would just walk around. Because I used to go hiking all the time, and it would ruin my afternoon when somebody's walking around blasting fucking the Biebs or Rihanna or whoever the fuck, and I'm just trying to have a nice afternoon out in nature, not listening to music, which is a rare thing with me.
Not disagreeing with you on that one. When you're out in nature and you're hiking,
or just in general, it doesn't have to be like when you're trying to have a nice day. It's just like, listen, I take great care not to like push my music on other people. When I'm in a parking lot and I'm driving through, I turn my music down. But like, you know, nobody wants to hear anybody else's music. They only want to hear their music.
That's very true.
So it's like, just be considerate. I'll buy you a fucking pair of headphones, dog.
Well,
like,
your phone has a headphone jack for a reason.
Well,
but it also has a speaker for a reason. But people don't understand. The speaker is meant for when you're at home in a private place.
In a private place. It's
and you
not
want to listen to that.
When
the
you're
headphone
in Target,
jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in Target, you don't turn on your fucking speakerphone and blast some shitty trap music. Then piss off, you know, the fucking 10 people around you trying to buy milk.
Yeah. There's a time and a place. And I feel like, you know, I don't know if you experience the backpacks with speakers in them.
Obnoxious.
Ever.
The most
That's
obnoxious
the
thing.
most terrible
if you
invention.
can't see me right now, but I am holding my temple and rubbing my face.
That's the most terrible invention ever. Like, I would like to meet the guy who invented that and give him fucking AIDS. I don't have AIDS myself, but I would find a way to inject him full of AIDS. Because, honestly, like, I feel like the public music broadcasting system, which is what I'm forever now going to refer to it as, is a flawed one. Because the only time I should be able to hear music that I am not specifically trying to play is if I'm in a store and they have their little Macy's radio going on, or I'm at a concert, or I'm walking by a concert. Other than that, I shouldn't hear music.
What about in a bar/nightclub?
The same thing. Kind of like the Macy's radio setting, where it's just like music is playing in a place that's appropriate to play music.
Right.
Other than that, fuck off. I don't need to hear anything ever that's not anything that I want to hear. That's just, like, I exist in my own sphere of influence. So I only try to allow things in it that I want in it. And when you try to invade my space with, like, fucking T-Pain or Kanye West...
I feel the problem is most people that play their music on their cell phone in public, they play it obnoxiously loud to the point where the speaker sounds like it's blown out.
Yeah, it clips all over the place.
Yeah, it's clipping. It doesn't sound right. There's too much static, but yet they seem to be enjoying it like it's...
But I've seen... The thing that bothers me is I see people walking around with the phone playing the music in any setting. I've seen it at the mall. I've seen it hiking. And it's not like they're standing in silence enjoying it. They're talking over it. Why are you playing music if you're going to talk over it? It's just... It baffles me. And it infuriates me to no end, because when I listen to music, I'm fucking listening to music. If I'm on a goddamn road trip, you better bet we're turning that shit up to 11, and you better shut the fuck up unless you got some instructions or you're seeing some shit that I'm not seeing, because guess what? We're blasting these tunes, we're singing along, and you're gonna fucking enjoy it. Because when I'm playing my music, that's the time to play the music. We can fucking conversate later. There's no time like the present to listen to music.
Right. I feel that.
So the people who are like walking around with their phones in their fucking pockets and then they're like having a conversation. What's the fucking point?
What if it's like like background music, like
you don't need background music for your life.
Like riding on a bus.
You don't need background music for your life. You just need it to fill the empty void that is your shallow, sullen existence, which does not need to exist near me.
You're cutting kind of deep right now.
Well, am I touching a vein? Well, maybe we should move on.
Touching a nerve on Littleberry.
Yeah, let's find a new topic.
Hitting close to home.
Yeah, let's find a new topic. Well, let's go here. We're at number 8.
Okay.
What is your favorite superhero or villain?
My favorite superhero would have to be Shazam. Or Captain Marvel. Just because of the fact, I mean, he's as strong as Superman, if not stronger.
Okay.
He's based on magic. He's not based on, science or weird Kryptonian powers, or how they're trying to do like basing Thor off of weird science magic or whatever the hell.
Quick sidebar. Fuck Thor. Okay.
Whoa.
Listen.
Whoa.
I like Thor. I like the actor who plays him. My beef with Thor is that you might as well have been like, hey, I wrote this comic. It's got this character in it.
Beta Ray Bill.
Okay, dude, high five. Beta Ray Bill is my favorite Thor. But no, like my issue with Thor is that they went, we need a character. We've come up with Spider-Man. We've come up with Captain America. We have these original IPs that are these beautiful creations that America loves. What should we do next? I know. Let's rip the Norse god of thunder and just make him a guy in our universe. Let's just do that. Like, they might as well have been like, hey, here's our new superhero. His name's Jesus. Have fun. Like, there's no... Like, that's just my beef with it. It's just like, I get it. He's a beloved character.
Yeah, but they didn't just take Thor and
put him
you're
in
right.
There. They gave him a fucking
They gave the whole
shitty,
backstory. They have him in Asgard. Everything just like how you said. He's the Norse god.
And now he's a fucking cripple little bitch. And
actually, he's undead now. After Ragnarok, man, he came back as the Skeleton King.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay attention to anything that bitch does.
If you haven't read it, it's nasty, man. He rips skin off of people and wears them like a mask.
I'm just saying, my beef with Thor is that they were willing to have enough brainstorm sessions to come up with Spider-Man and all of those other characters that we know and love, and Thor was just like plucked out of fucking history. Like, you might as well, I don't know, Jesus Christ, George Washington, any of those guys. I would rather have George Washington live in the fucking Marvel universe than Thor. That would be more interesting. Give me fucking George Washington versus Ultron. That's a movie. I would go see that fucking movie. But anyway, back to Shazam. He's not based in magic. He's not based in science. Or he's based on magic,
He's
right?
based on magic, yes.
He
was granted his powers by a wizard.
Okay. Dumbledore? Or Gandalf?
Gandalf, actually. His code name was Shazam. No, but I just think he's awesome, and he's a child. Yeah. Literally a child. Mm-hmm. He's 12, 13 years old, orphaned, but he met this wizard that granted him these powers to become, because he was the orphan that was always bullied, picked on, treated poorly. So this wizard granted him these powers to be a strong, powerful being, to combat all these things and to actually help people in the same situation that he's in. So I feel like that's quite an awesome power. And also, he's in the same sense of Thor. He uses thunder and lightning. Well, not necessarily thunder, but he uses lightning in his powers.
Okay.
So
I can respect that. And Shaquille O'Neal wanted to play Shazam, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
You're thinking of Kazam. He played the genie with the boombox.
I feel like
the boombox genie, man. Yeah, it was Kazam.
I feel like I recently saw some talk
Nestle
about
Crunch
Shazam.
was all about sponsoring that movie.
I feel like I've seen Shazam in the headlines lately. Like they're trying to get somebody to play that movie.
If that comes out, I would be so happy.
Yeah, maybe we should get you in casting.
I feel like consider it.
They're doing all of these like sex change superheroes, and they're doing different races for superheroes. At least in the comics, like Iron Man's a black woman now. Why not have a white Shazam?
Shazam's always been white.
I thought he was black.
No.
Am I still thinking of Kazam?
You're thinking of Kazam, but you're you might be confusing his nemesis, Black Adam.
Yes.
Which
what I'm thinking of.
Actually isn't a black man. He is a white person named Black Adam.
Well, I just assumed that Black Adam was like black and then Adam spelled ADAM, and it was just a dude named Adam who, you know, was down in the hood. You know what I mean? Is that racist? I don't know what's racist anymore. Our president has confused me on what's racist or not.
Lines are kind of skewed right now. Everything's a little
racist.
Off. Everything's very racist right now.
I think like we get a pass right now. We're kind of in the
everyone's really triggered right now, so it doesn't really matter what the fuck you say.
So I'm allowed to be racist if I'm triggered, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like if I'm a little on edge, I can be as racist as I want. My favorite superhero, not as deep as a cut as Shazam, is Spider-Man.
Okay. My brother loves Spider-Man.
Yeah, my dad raised me on Spider-Man, introduced me to his comics very early on. Pretty much just around the time I also got into Star Wars. And Spider-Man, to me, he's not only my favorite, but I also think he's the best. I think he's the best well-drawn as a character, not necessarily like his physical stature, but just he emotionally and written.
Right.
He's the best well-drawn character. I think that Peter Parker is the most human alter ego that, you know, he's the most relatable. Tony Stark, billionaire playboy, I can't relate to that. You know, Captain America, patriotic as fuck, I can't relate to that. Thor, Norse god of thunder, I can kind of relate to that. How does that tell you what I see about myself? It tells you a lot. Hulk, brilliant scientist, I don't know.
Angry as fuck, you can relate to that.
I can relate to that. I do change into a green monster every time I get agitated.
It's very true.
Yeah, I just feel like Peter Parker, he's the most human and centered character. And the things that, you know, all of the other heroes deal with are on such a big like planetary and galactic scale. Spider-Man deals with like the Vulture. He fights the Vulture for like 6 issues. And, like, that's just the thing. He fights the Vulture, and then he stops some old lady's purse from getting stolen. Like, that's real shit. That's, like, a superhero. You know, and, like, that's my beef with Superman, too, is every time he fights somebody, it's like, oh, my God, there's a giant robot tearing apart the city, or, holy shit, this guy's jamming Earth up his butthole. Superman, like, come help us. And it's like, what's going on? I can't comprehend this. But Spider-Man, it's these, like, contained...
The same thing kind of goes with Shazam as well.
Yeah.
He comes from that poor upbringing. He was an orphan. So he goes back, you know, he does have those major battles, like the galactic battles, because Black Adam comes out. He comes back.
Who's a white person.
He's a white person.
We should call him White Black Adam.
White Black Adam.
Okay.
WBA?
Sure.
WBA?
WBA.
Okay, so WBA comes back to Earth. And he tries to fuck up some shit.
Okay.
He causes a bunch of mayhem. But at the same time, when he's not there, or he defeats him, or sends him back to whatever realm he goes to, or strips him of his powers, when it comes down to the end of it, at the end of the day, Shazam will always help the old lady cross the street. Or, you know, he does that because he remembers who he is at heart. He's just a child. He just wants to do these things to be a better person and to help everyone else around him. And also, he looks up, his greatest hero is Superman.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, anything Superman did at his beginning stages, he looked up to that. He was like, wow, Superman, you are fantastic. You're my hero.
Okay.
So,
who do you think would win in a fight? Shazam or Spider-Man?
Shazam or Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Are you kidding right now?
Well, Spider-Man's got the Force.
Shazam?
Spider-Man's got the Force on his side.
Force of what?
Well, he's got
you
the
talking
spider
about
sense.
Spider sense?
He's got this, but that's basically the Force. Spider-Man's got spider sense, which basically puts him, in my book, like 3 legs up on everybody else.
Okay.
Because he can sense any kind of danger.
Shazam can throw lightning. He can...
Ooh. Spider-Man's dodged everything that's been thrown at him. He's never been hit once by anything.
Wait, okay, so who's that electric fuck that...
Shocker?
The Shocker.
Shocker.
The Shocker.
The Shocker.
Okay, so, yeah, I take that back, because the Shocker has thrown lightning or electricity at Spider-Man, and he has dodged
and Electro. The Shocker and Electro are both
Electro was the one I'm thinking
based
of.
Villains who
Yes.
have attacked Spider-Man.
They have thrown electricity at Spider-Man, and he has dodged it.
And Spider-Man has a genius-level intellect, which can allow him to adapt.
So I take that one back. But can he dodge... I mean, when it comes down to it, he can dodge, dip, dodge, duck, dive, dip, dodge, duck, dive, dodge.
Is that
But-
a Shaggy tune? Deep cut?
It could be.
B-side?
B-side. It's a B-side. But at the end of the day, if Shazam ended up grabbing him, like just sped up, because he's as fast as Superman,
Okay.
as strong, if not stronger, he has basically the same powers.
Okay.
The only difference is he doesn't have the eye lasers.
Okay.
He can't do that. He has super speed, super strength, throw lightning, all these crazy things. So as soon as he grabs Spider-Man, it's fucking game over.
Well-
He can rip him in half like a phone book.
Yeah.
You know?
But Spider-Man's also beaten the Hulk.
Explain, please.
He's beaten the Hulk. I don't know all of the details. I just know that he's beaten the Hulk. I know it in my heart. I just believe I don't think that Spider-Man could beat everybody, but I do think that he's sort of like, and as much as I dislike Batman, I think that Spider-Man's like Batman in the sense that, like, if he can get a bit of a heads up, he can beat anybody. He can prepare.
Well, that would be, he would have to prepare, yes.
Yeah, I think that, like, if, like, what's Shazam gonna do to fight Spider-Man? He'd go, all right, well, I'm Shazam, so go fuck yourself. Spider-Man, he would go, all right, what do I need to do? Bing, bang, boom. He'd get his little shit together, and then he'd go up and jam his whole body inside of Shazam.
Really, the only way to kind of beat Shazam is to get him to say Shazam, to turn him back into a child.
Then you know what you do, because he's got the mind of a child. You go, hey, what's your name again? And then he goes, oh, Shazam. And then he's a kid, and you know what? Spider-Man, this is why I love him. He has no qualms about beating the shit out of a child, out of a fucking toddler. That's what I like about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the child abuser, is my number one fucking guy. And you can bet that he will not hesitate to fucking show that kid who's boss. Because he deserves it. So, we'll see. I know there's some YouTubers out there who make these fights. So, Shazam versus Spider-Man. Let's see it. Hit us up when it's done. We know you're listening right now. Should we do one more before we do our break?
Yeah,
let's
definitely.
try to hit one more. Boop, 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 boop. That's the random number generator working. And we got number 11.
Number
which is
11.
the deep one, and this is a good one to do before our break.
That is you.
Are humans better at creation or destruction?
Oh.
I really like this question. I heard it the other day, and I just feel like there's so much philosophical and, like, societal weight to it, and there's just so much to kind of get into. And I feel like it's not necessarily even about like cities. Like, we could talk about how, we bombed Hiroshima back in the day, and we fucking leveled a city and destroyed any signs of life in it for years on end.
Yeah.
But we could also talk about the creation of art and the creation of music and things like that, and the creation of people. And on a more spiritual level, the building up and destroying of people as well, like these celebrities that we have, and how we're so quick to praise them and we're also quick to tear them down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
well,
guess...
it honestly depends, to me, it depends on the era, the
Okay.
time, the decade, what's going on. If we're in a time of war, I feel like throughout history, when you really look at things, instead of looking at the broad picture, you stop, pick a section of time, and really dive in and look at that section. That's because I'm kind of talking over myself here. That's when people kind of get overzealous about certain topics, because they'll be like, well, don't forget that this happened during this period in time. And it's like, okay, but at the same time, this happened, and this happened, But they choose to focus on this, and this. But it's like you neglect all the other great things that have happened. It's like, yeah, that's a terrible thing that happened, but don't let it overshadow all the other awesome things that have happened,
True. I agree.
And I feel like the biggest thing in humans, unfortunately, is we are the most creative during times of war. When it comes to fighting each other, we come up with the most creative ways to fuck each other up, to kill each other, to torture each other, to do anything else. But at the same time, after that war or fighting is over, we are also really good at taking those death machines and turning them into machines that help us. Or to, we can take an attack helicopter, rip the guns out, and turn it into a medevac helicopter. You know what I mean? It's basic things like that. So we get the innovation because we're in such a rush. We need to pump out all these weapons and machinery.
Yeah.
But when the war is over and you have no one left to fight,
you've got all these machines sitting around.
Exactly. So what do? Now you need to retrofit them to help your people. Yeah. So I feel that's kind of the case with people.
Yeah, I think that in the current time that we live in, which is such an interesting time to me because I feel like every day there's something new. There's some new paradigm being explored. I feel like there's a new thing we're going into. We've got like Ronnie James Dio is supposed to have a hologram at some festival next year. We've got these
Tupac.
holograms. Yeah, we've got all these holograms going on. We've got all of this technology happening. We've got things. I feel like every time I turn around, there's just something new that's made everything that I already understand obsolete. And so I feel like we live in probably one of the craziest Renaissance times because I feel like since 2008, 2007, technology has not stopped.
No,
I feel like it's sort of chasing its own tail right now because like after the invention of touchscreen, or I guess like the popularization and localization of touchscreen, after everybody got a smartphone, it's just been sort of like, well, we do it better, and we do it better, and ours is thinner, and ours doesn't have a headphone jack, and ours has more shit. Like, it's been kind of mostly focused on smartphones, but there's also like other little things happening all over the place. So I just feel like the time that we live in right now, especially, given the political environment, we have more access to more information than anybody ever has before in the world.
Very true.
And we are able to access that information at any point in time from pretty much any location.
Case in point, podcast right now. Someone's listening to it on their cell phone.
Yeah, we're delivering so much information to these people.
Into the palm of your hand.
And like, you can be stranded in the desert, not understand how to fix your car, and then thanks to your fucking pocket encyclopedia, you can fix it. You understand. And on the same level, though, we live in a time where there's also hate, violence, war being perpetrated by evil groups and people and certain things, and that's going to lead to destruction. And, they say Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was torn down in a day.
It's very true.
So I just think that the interesting thing about humanity is that we just kind of press on, I guess. And it's not so much in a tenacious way. It's not so much in a artistic way. We just sort of dust ourselves off and keep going.
That's in our nature. Yeah. It's survive or die.
Yeah.
The species has to carry on.
Ever since the invention of society, really, I guess back in the fucking Roman times or whenever society was... I'm not a historian, go fuck yourself. Whenever like people decided, I'm going to have a house and I'm going to have a job and I'm going to have a family, ever since then, tribes have risen and fallen, and villages and cities and kingdoms, and we're still fucking sitting here, in a goddamn apartment complex, in a city, in a state, in a country of a nation. Whatever burns down next, something else will just rise up in its place. It may be a year, it might be 100 years, but eventually
regardless of whether or not you like that nation or its political ideals or beliefs, it's going to be there.
Yeah. So
It'll rise up, it'll fall, it'll come back,
yeah.
it'll fall again.
So I guess, answer the question: are humans better at creation or destruction? What's the verdict here? I think it's easy and a cop-out to say, well, it's super easy because we've got A-bombs, we can just go and nuke a fucking city and tear it down in 5 minutes.
Of course.
But I feel like you had a really interesting point of we're the most creative at times of war and violence.
Exactly.
And when the pressure's on,
when the pressure's on to destroy something,
an enemy
who
threatens our way of life,
or it couldn't even be an enemy, really. It could just be
an inconvenience.
And you need a disease.
Yeah.
You need to come up with a way to combat a disease.
You just fucking whip out your AK and blah 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 in the fucking head.
Chop.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shoot
Problem
AIDS in the head.
solvers. Yeah.
You're done.
So I think.
So
I guess we're
when it comes down to it, like you said, when the pressure's on,
we're
humans
better,
while we're destroying, we're excellent at creating ways of destroying. So we're kind of in the middle.
Okay.
We have the best of both worlds, but unfortunately, some people lean farther to either way. You know what I mean? Some people are really good at creating, whether it be art, machinery, something to help someone, or just for pure entertainment, while others are really, really good at creating
ways to destroy,
whether it be terrorism, creating weapons, bombs, whatever else you want. Some people are just naturally good at that.
So I guess like the final verdict, I guess, would be that we're good at creating, and that creation is just
creating ways of destroying.
Destruction. So yeah, I guess on that note, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the episode. Thanks for sticking around. Hey guys, we're back. Still no sponsors, still no offers. It's week 4 of the show of our Apple Windows major corporation watch, and nobody has reached out yet. Not yet. We're hurting pretty bad over here on a cash level, I would say.
We're doing this for free right now, people.
We're delivering this to you for free. We're taking time out of our lives. Do you know what I could be doing right now? Literally anything else. But I choose...
I could be playing so much Diablo 3 right now.
Yes.
It's not even funny.
And I'm not a nerd, so I could be going out and doing literally anything else that doesn't involve Diablo 3. So...
Well, fuck you too.
So, yeah, I mean, really, guys, we do the show for free for you. Do you know how much, you don't deserve that? But we do it anyways because we love it and we love you.
We love pretty much everyone. And I say pretty much everyone.
Pretty much. You're included. Even you. Even you. You know who you are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I mean, let's do this. Let's do a call to action because that's what every great brand does.
Of course.
So here's what we're going to do. We have Dish Gods on Instagram, but we also have a new face for our company.
Yeah.
We are
beautiful face.
Beautiful feline face.
Feline. Whoa.
Feline.
Canine.
It's got feline-esque features. Well, why don't you guys go see for yourself?
See for yourself and let us know.
What's the name of the Instagram?
It's on Instagram. It's Miko-san, MIKOSAN _ Shiba.
Okay.
SHIBA.
You heard it here. Go check it out. That is the CEO of all of this. Miko runs the whole thing. Go check him out. He's an adorable little fucker. Pinch his cheeks.
Gorgeous 1-year-old Shiba Inu.
Yeah.
And he is the light of my life.
Yeah. We are going to exploit him, slave labor, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get Miko t-shirts and mugs and buttons and tattoos and anything that you can think of. So go follow him on Instagram. Tell him that Dish Gods sent you, and then follow us at Dish Gods on Instagram. tell us Miko sent you, and we'll have a nice little fan giveaway for when we get some merch. And then go on Twitter, and I want you to contact Apple and Microsoft and Sony and tell them, sponsor an episode of Dish Gods. Just one. $100 spot. And then I will concede. Because I will not rest until I have cold, green, hard, crunchy pennies in betwixt my fingers. Can you guys make a little boy's dream come true? Please. So I can shut the fuck up about this, because literally...
I'm getting really tired of hearing about this.
And this is only his second episode. And you guys have been listening to us for 4. So you guys have been hearing it twice as long as he has, and he's already sick of it. So you guys are twice as sick of it, if my math is correct, and it always is, because I have a genius-level intellect, much like the best superhero, Spider-Man. So, with that being said, follow the dog. That's going to be our show's new tagline, I think. Welcome to Dish Gods, follow the dog.
Yeah.
Follow the dog. He runs things now. We're just pawns in his puppet
he runs
show.
my life at home anyway.
Yeah.
So why not run it here, outside of the home?
You know what? Dog food costs money, people. Let's follow him. Follow Miko. Follow Dish Gods. Help put
Please.
some...
I'm also trying to get him to be a dog model as well. So if there's any modeling agents out there listening right now, Miko is a gorgeous 1-year-old male Shiba Inu.
They can see for themselves. And if you're a model, email us.
Please.
At dishgodshow@gmail.com. We would love to hang out with some models. Just
male or female. It doesn't matter.
Male or female. We're not here to judge.
Yeah, we're not here to judge or discriminate. Come on in.
We just want some warm bodies to hang out with. So yeah, with that being said, we're going to get back into the episode. We're going to lighten things up a little bit. So we'll be right back. And just stick around. All right, guys, we're back. It was a good break. Got a nice little breather. Talked about Miko. That's the most important thing. So I guess we'll roll the dice and see what our next topic is. Looks like it is, tell me about the first time you ever got hit in the face.
Ouch. Wow. That's kind of a big one.
Okay.
Not really. But I guess it's kind of hard for me to remember. Marijuana affects the memory.
More you know.
Oh man, I gotta say it was about are we talking truly hit in the face?
The first time somebody
you squared up with someone and they hit you in the face?
I'm thinking of it like the first time someone struck you with intent to harm in your face. It doesn't have to be the first time you got a major right cross to the cheek. I'm just talking maybe you pissed off a girl and she slapped you. Maybe it was a teacher, a bus.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, in that case...
Mrs. Levinson, I remember you.
Calling you out. I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I went to a private school.
Fancy.
I grew up in Hawaii. So, corporal punishment was legal.
Okay.
Back then.
Different country,
Totally different country.
Uncivilized island people.
They wear grass skirts. There's no electricity.
Yeah, coconut shirts and
Yeah.
whatever.
I talked back to the teacher, and she wasn't having it, and she popped me. Kind of like it, that I don't mean to sound racist here, but if you were to do that whole, thing, she slapped me just like that, right in the mouth, right on the lips.
Ooh, that's an interesting technique.
That,
weird but effective.
Very effective. It shut me up. I went home with a fat lip. When I told my mom asked me, she goes, "Oh, what happened?" I told her the teacher hit me. Well, why? Because I said this and that, and I was talking back, and my mom just kind of rolled her eyes and said, "Well, you had it coming to you." So that was that, But that was the time and age that it was. It wasn't. It's not. I mean, now obviously, a parent can't even hit their own child now.
For all that PC, liberal, fucking leftist bullshit, fucking raising a generation of pussies.
But, you know, at the same time, you know, let's keep it light. I don't want to dive into this. Let's keep it light.
Yeah, we'll keep things light. I
Max?
remember the first time very vividly, because at the time I was very angry, but looking back, it's such a comedic scene in my head. I had quite a few. I wouldn't necessarily call them bullies because it was kind of like a two-way street, like give and take. But I remember one person in particular who I won't name, so I'll just call him Joey.
Okay.
He was kind of like the cool kid. This is probably like fourth grade or so. He was a cool kid. Everybody liked him. He just hated me for whatever reason, and so I decided that I was just going to refer to him by his last name for whatever reason. I was being an asshole. So I called him his last name, and I did it like a couple times. He kept getting more and more frustrated, and, you know, which is, it's a weird thing to get frustrated by. It's a weird thing to do. So it's just a dumb situation already. And we were in the middle of the gym class, and I guess I called him it one too many times. So he comes over to me. He squares up on me. He's not a big kid. We're pretty much the same size. We're both scrawny kids. So he squares up to me, and he goes and he slaps me right across the face. And that was kind of like the first time I'd ever been like hit like that. And so I just I kind of stopped, and I was like,
Taken aback.
Yeah, I was just like, that was weird. And so my very first instinct is I just raised my hand and slapped him right back. And he kind of gave me the same look of like, the fuck just happened? And then he slapped me. And then he slapped me. And so we went back and forth like 3 times, and then we pushed each other. And then by that time, the teacher came over to break it up. I kind of wanted it to keep going because I was like, at what point is this going to progress to blows?
Right.
And we're just going to like keep doing this like Pokemon battle-esque style of taking turns. Yeah, that was the first time that I ever kind of got hit in the face, at least that I can remember. Yeah, I love that memory just because it's such an odd scene in my head of just, he slaps me, I take 2 seconds, I slap him, then he takes 2 seconds, and we just trade blows for a few minutes.
I remember I was in the 4th grade. I got in a fight with this really fat kid. And I mean, granted, at the time, I was a chunky kid. But
we're talking
this kid,
pudge.
He was well above my weight.
Yeah.
You know, this is like if I was a welterweight fighting a heavyweight. Like, there's no competition here, right? But just like you, he was just one of those kids that just the way his voice sounded, just everything about his nature,
situation,
fucking just got under my skin, and I would just do anything he said. I was the opposite, just to prove a point. One day out on the playground, we had enough of it. You know, he came up to me and he got in my face. So, you know, I grew up with 2 older brothers. Mm-hmm. You know, they got in my face. You know what to do. You just fucking either push them, you hit them, you do something.
You run away.
Or you run away, especially when it's the oldest brother. You just run away. You don't do anything. You just run away. But when it came to him, he got in my face, so I was like, okay, I know what to do. I'm just going to hit you in the face. So I tried to hit him in the face, but he was taller than me. And unfortunately, as you can see right now, you can't see at home, my arms are very short. Yeah, I have a very short reach.
Yeah, he is. They're ludicrously small.
Yes,
it's unsettling.
I'm kind of like what's his name, Verve Troyer, Mini-Me.
Yes, sure. Yes, absolutely.
So my arms are very short. So when I tried to swing at him, I missed by a good foot.
Okay.
So it was kind of, I just hit the air. He immediately grabbed my face and pushed me down into the mud. And so I tried to stand up really quick, and he ended up grabbing me by the waist from behind, like on my back. Mm-hmm. Like my head is in his crotch. He's over me, grabbing my waist like he's going to give me a pile driver almost, right?
Okay.
But he doesn't. He hugs me from the top. So now I'm crushed under this fat kid, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get out of his grasp, and I can't get out. So the only logical thing I can think of is to just punch at his knees, right? To try and loosen his grip. I figure if I cause enough pain down below, it'll get him to loosen up my waist and I can slither out.
Yeah.
Big mistake. I end up hitting his knee so hard that it buckles his knees, and he ends up sitting on the back of my neck and pushing me
further into the mud. Okay, good plan. Good plan. Going good so far.
After that, I just remember being in the mud for about a good 30 seconds to a minute before my friends came over, and I hear them yelling at him, and one of them ended up coming up and pushing him off.
Okay.
And I ended up standing up. When I stood up, I was about ready to tee off on his face because at the time, you know, he was kind of reeling back from being pushed over.
Yeah.
Just then, the recess guard or lady comes over, blows the whistle, breaks up the fight. I ended up getting suspended for 3 days for being in a fight.
As it goes.
For being in a fight.
Yeah.
For being sat on and pushed in the mud. I got suspended.
Yeah, isn't that how it always goes? Well, at least you got out of the mud.
Yeah.
Right? It's
right.
Going to be a much different story. Well, I think we got time for one more. So why don't we roll our little die and we'll get into the last topic of the episode. And it looks like it is great sound design.
Thank
Listen
you.
to
Thank
that.
you.
Production value. This is what happens when you give us cash. I'm talking cash.
Looking at you, Microsoft.
Yeah, come on. So our last topic of the day is number 3, and that ends up being clickbait.
Clickbait.
Which is an interesting problem. It's a problem unique to our generation.
Very. This is...
Scourge of the internet, scourge of media in general.
Because it's so quick. It can change feelings. It can entice you to say, hey, that's interesting. Or it can inflame you and be like, that is so wrong and infuriating. But the problem is they're using someone's Facebook profile picture and adding a caption to it.
Yeah, and none of it's real.
Taken completely out of context.
One of my most vivid run-ins with clickbait, because I'm usually not a sucker for that kind of stuff. I usually don't care about this man and his wife were on the side of the road and nobody would stop to help them, but what this husband did next will shock you. I'm usually not a sucker for that. But, you know, I do follow a few science pages, and at one point I saw an article, and I follow these pages for their legitimacy. They posted an article titled, parts of the DNA found in marijuana are not from Earth. Basically saying marijuana is from space, essentially.
Space weed.
Yeah,
so
space
we're
weed.
smoking space weed.
So I'm like, fuck yeah, let me jump in.
So
the article was a satirical article about how bad clickbait is. So they gave me clickbait
to read
about how bad clickbait is. And the whole point of clickbait is that these websites get money off of your clicks.
Exactly.
By generating traffic, they're
getting
revenue.
0.2 cents per click.
And so they were like, you know what? I want some of that money. And so they give a fake clickbait title. You jump on their website, you give them that click, and then they're like, hey, by the way, this thing that we just did is wrong. It's just bullshit. And it's interesting, too, because we have clickbait. There's so much clickbait in forms. And there's the obvious forms that it comes in of, X person did this. When you see the reason why, you'll cry, which you never do. And then, but I also feel like there's, a lot of these, listicles that are out there that are like, here's 15 money-saving hacks that your bank doesn't want you to know. Your boss will hate you if you learn these things. Or there's here's the 5 times that Shazam was actually a good hero. And then you click it and it's just
6 ways to lose weight. Your personal trainer hates this.
Exactly. And yeah, it's such an odd issue that we have because there's so much non-content being delivered out now.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, listen to us right now. This is complete non-content. And,
we're just talking.
you know, we're just fucking rambling on.
Yeah, we're just too
like fucking Led Zeppelin over here.
Yeah, we're just trying to fill out the minutes for our episode. No, I just feel that I feel like the internet needs to get like emptied out. Every like 2 years, I feel like there should be some little troll man in the fucking deep parts of like the Netherlands, and you should have to go through and clear out all the clickbait trash.
I feel the issue here is the internet has bled into the real world.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Vaguely.
God, I'm gonna fucking sound like an old man here. But back in the heyday of the internet, so like the mid 90s, early to mid 90s, right? That was kind of like the prime time for the internet.
Well,
because
yeah.
that's when you could have like underground things going on. And I don't mean necessarily
Darknet shit.
you know donkey shows or whatever the fuck else people are into, but you know, just like it was like its own pop culture scene online.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like now TV shows, you know, everything else, they take over. The internet has bled into these things. So even TV shows now are hashtag this, hashtag dish gods.
Yeah.
But you know, it's everything's bled into real life, and there's no separation.
Well, the internet is supposed to be a tool. I feel like at its core, the internet is connect me and you in a way that never could be before. We said earlier about how it's access to all of the human fucking light bowl of knowledge.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like now it's just become that underground pop culture has bled into our relevant, like, surface pop culture.
Yeah.
And now you're finding this weird mesh between, because there's some people that refuse to use Facebook or Instagram or any of these things, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to use social media or whatever. But when people use these internet references in real life, it's like, are you kidding me, dude? It doesn't really...
The lines blur.
Yeah, it doesn't play out the same. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, and I understand the point that you're trying to convey, but at the same time, there's a time and a place.
Absolutely.
Real life is not the time and place for saying LOL in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
I totally get you. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait, and eventually, after we build the wall, the internet systems go down, electricity shuts off.
Well,
we'll have to deal with that anymore.
You know, thanks to Trump, that wall's gonna get built.
You know, we're gonna be on that crew.
Don't
Front lines,
you worry
buddy.
about it, buddy.
We got it.
That wall's getting built, and you're paying for it.
Oh yeah, and we will probably do the podcast, episode 5, From the Wall.
Behind the wall.
Behind the wall. Yeah, eventually we'll get on the crew and we'll start building it. But yeah, that's going to do it for us this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on all our social medias at Ditch Gods. Follow Mikasan _Shiba. He needs his dog food. It's up to you guys.
If he doesn't get followers, he doesn't eat.
Yeah,
and
that's just
his
how we're going
food
to do
is very
it.
expensive.
It's not up to us. It's up to him. He said that. We have audio recordings that we cannot share because he will be angry. So with that being said, we're going to call it quits for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good week.